Hey, welcome to Gen X Medic. I realize I need to explain something to people that a lot of people don't understand. My last video that I made was concerning the fact that EMS providers are having issues with being considered an essential service. And I also have people ask me why they're for profit. The reality is, it's just a lot easier to comply with being a for-profit agency than it is for being a non-for-profit. You wind up being a 501c, and there's a lot of paperwork, ridiculous amount of paperwork. It's almost not worth it. I know this because back in 2004, I think it was, one of my bosses decided that being a for-profit sent the wrong message. That being non-for-profit sent the message that we were just there for the community. The gentleman who did this is a really good man. Horrible businessman, but a great man. A man who really cared about everybody. He's a great paramedic. To be honest, if I needed someone to intubate me, he's in the top 1%, period. He's really that good. The problem is that they make it, the compliance with non-for-profit status so difficult, it's hard to make it. Because even if you're a non-for-profit, you still got to make payroll. You still got to pay the people doing the jobs that don't bring in money. I often hear people talk about these different agencies and companies and groups. So Susan G. Komen is a big one. They talk about how much it costs for the overhead. And you've got to pay people to do these jobs. They're hard jobs. Bosses, employers, the people who make these interactions, it takes time out of their day. They get calls at 2 o'clock in the morning that you don't want to get. So you want to know why they go for profit? It's just easier to comply with the rules. Most ambulance services are running a 5 to 10% profit margin, which means they're making a nickel to a dime on every dollar they spend. It's not great money. You know, these big companies that you talk about that you think are rich, they're really not. Not in the grand scheme of things. And this is why all these things matter, this reimbursement issue, all this other stuff is so important. And I just probably fixed my sound here, so let's go with that. I've often argued that billing and operational costs are something that should be included in every person in EMS's knowledge base. Because when you're trying to do that, when you're trying to figure out how to pay people and how to buy ambulances, because all this stuff matters, you gotta know where it comes from. I'm not hating on anybody. I actually want everybody to be happy and do well. I really do. But we can't have agencies with years of experience serving an area die just because no one wants to talk about the realities of business and resources. This isn't new. Everyone should read the story of Freedom House. Everybody. So many people in EMS think that this is new and I've never dealt with it. This has never been dealt with. Those guys were dealing with the same crap in the 60s and 70s. How do you buy new trucks? How do you put wheels on them? How do you put fuel in them? How do you get people to the hospital alive and not dead? And we want to insulate ourselves from that, because that's the dirty, how the sausage is made. But if we don't know how the sausage is made, how can we get better? How can we make it work better? And the bloody government is making it worse. Insurance companies making it worse. And you're making it worse. I made it worse because I didn't want to know. Why didn't I want to know? Because I didn't want to know how much it cost the patient, all these crazy things I was doing. Now I know, and guess what? I still do them. Because I realized, in the end, my patients deserve me to do my best every day. And you know that. New EMTs and new paramedics are scared to death. I guarantee it. I know it. I train them. They're not scared of what it costs. They're scared of doing if they're doing the right thing. They're scared of screwing up. Just like you and I were. But how can they advocate and argue for themselves and to get better if we don't get out there and show them why, show them how it works? We can't do that. If we don't fix this problem, people are going to die. If we don't fix this problem, if we don't advocate for this, if we don't get up there and make it work, nothing's going to get better. You want aggressive new protocols to allow you to help people? You got to get out there and advocate. But you got to know how the sausage is made to do that. I mean, will your workforce, will your coworkers take a 1% decrease in the amount the raise is going to be to buy brand new equipment? Will they get out there and do the things that you and I know they need to do? Well, they're not going to do it if they don't know how the money gets there, if they don't know how little the money really is, if they don't know what their bosses do, if they don't know what the management does, if they don't know what dispatch does, if they don't know what the CEO of the company does, if they don't know what the fire chief does, if they don't know what the director of the non-for-profit does, if they don't know what the guy in charge, if they don't have a clue what he does, they're just going to hate that guy. They don't understand that that guy doesn't get to take the same breaks you do. That guy or girl is going to get a phone call on the beach in Florida because someone wrecked an ambulance. They don't get that option. We don't communicate. We're not telling the truth. And by God, we're not doing right by the new people coming into this business. We're not doing right by the patients if we're not knowing every single thing we can. Folks, if you think what I'm doing, if you think this conversation matters, like, share, subscribe. Get this out here. I guarantee you, you've got guys at your service that are saying the same things I am, or they know the same things I do, and they won't tell you because they're afraid to be told. They're afraid that they're going to be shut down. I promise you, this isn't going to hurt you as a paramedic. It's going to make you better. here soon I'm going to get on some other subjects, but this is important. This is Gen X Medic. Like, share, subscribe. Please signing off at this time.